Hey guys, how's it going? We've got some fun things going on today. We've got some planting to do, harvesting, a little bit of cooking, and I don't know if you can see behind me, but Benny's guys are here shifting a water line so we can get the very last of those new maples planted in the lawn. So I'm hoping by the end of today I can show you kind of the finished look of all the maples over there. So we have kind of an unintentional culinary theme today. We've got 3 different types of perennials here, all of which have food-related names, except for you, Russell. We've got a brand new echinacea for next year called Double Coated Butter Pecan. Isn't that gorgeous? Love the color. It's like a soft yellow, but it's got a little bit of an apricot note to it. Absolutely beautiful. We've got a hardy geranium called Boom Chocolata, which I have in another area of our garden behind our chicken coop, and it's just a wonderful, highly productive, huge, these get huge in our landscape like a shrub. Just a wonderful perennial. The thing I like about this one, you can see how dark the leaves are, so they contrast your brighter green, and they almost add a little bit of a red or a purple element to the garden, if that makes sense, without being bright red. But they've got beautiful purple flowers, and you shear them back middle of the season and they just spring forth again and create another beautiful show of color through the rest of the season. And then we've got just one sedum here, so this is a new one for this year. This is a Rock and Grow Tiramisu, and I love the color. Isn't that beautiful? It's like that smoky mauve, just gorgeous. So I'm just gonna tuck this in somewhere. I do think I've got other tiramisus out there. In fact, we'll go out and take a look, but yeah, so beautiful. Looks really pretty with this, actually. And then to continue our culinary theme, we're actually gonna start in the orchard this morning. I want to pick a few peaches. So we have 2 peach trees out there. We planted them last spring. They had a beautiful crop last year, like way more than I thought they would. They were growing beautifully this year. We always seem to have a false spring though. In February, it warms up, kind of tricking everything to bloom a little bit earlier. Our peach trees were in full glorious bloom, and I don't know, they must not have been in bloom with anything else in the orchard at that time, but we had a cold snap and it fried most of the blooms on the trees. So I got like 6 peaches this year, which is fine because the trees look so good, and to give them that year, you know, to just kind of root in and just be there and not put so much energy into fruit is kind of nice. But we're gonna pick those and start some old-fashioned homemade peach ice cream. And this recipe I've never tried before, but there's a few steps. You know, you have to let your peaches kind of marinate in some sugar, and you got to let them do that for an hour. And then you've got to make your custard, and you've got to let that chill for about 4 hours. And then you put it in the ice cream freezer, and after you get it out of there, then you need to leave it overnight in the freezer. So we're not going to actually be able to taste it probably today, maybe late this evening, but either way, I want to get the process started early today so that I can hopefully make it through all the steps. It doesn't seem complicated. There's just a lot of that wait time, you know, between steps. I'll wait until the last maple tree is planted to show you the finished result, but just looking at it right now, oh my goodness, it's gorgeous. Uh-oh, a couple of the peaches are on the ground. Uh-oh, hopefully they're okay. So our 2 peach trees are right here. This is a Snow Beauty white peach. No peaches on this one this year. And this is an Alberta, which look at these. Oh, something got to them. Oh, I've been seeing squirrels around, and I wonder. I'll throw these in the chicken coop. Thankfully, oh my goodness, look at that. Is that not perfection? I only need 3. Oh, there's 2 more. It was meant to be, you guys. Wow. Oh, they smell so good. I would normally want to eat these fresh. I mean, just straight off the tree, beautiful, clean, just gorgeous peaches. But our neighbors have a huge orchard. Actually, the neighbors we bought this property from, they have a huge orchard on the other side of their house, and they just brought us 2 big boxes of peaches that we've been eating on. I've had so many peaches over the last several days, so I thought, oh, it'd be so fun just to use ours for a really fun recipe. Side note, grass is filling in this area. There's some like kind of patchy spots in the middle and some weeds and stuff, but that's kind of typical, and it's filling in quite fast. And the peach trees themselves just look gorgeous. Look at them. Here's our recipe. We're just going to be following the steps, so I just need to peel and slice these and get them sitting in some sugar for an hour. Okay, the first step for the peach ice cream is done. We're gonna let them sit in there in their juices for an hour while we go out and plant all of these beautiful things. You know, I'm wondering if we should try some of the Boom Chocolata over here. They've got a beautiful purple bloom, which will kind of go in with our pink purple kind of theme we've got going. Let's try one. Okay, but real quick, the thing about this one, they say that they get 24 to 26 inches tall. Do you remember earlier this year when I was doing some maintenance behind the chicken coop, we went in and cut back the same variety because I have it back there. In fact, we should just walk back there and take a look at it. It was clocking in at like 41 inches or 42 inches tall. It does really well in our location. That's the thing about hardy geraniums, you guys. They like kind of crummy soil. They can handle our high pH without skipping a beat. They don't deal with chlorosis, none of that stuff. So I do need to consider that they're going to get quite a bit bigger than their tag actually states they will. And the only way to know that is just to grow it and experience it, unfortunately. Plants just react different in different climates. Okay, so here we are behind the chicken coop. You can see their machine is here. They're going to be bringing water into a lot of the sections that we have designed back here behind the Hartley, and then they'll be leveling the whole thing. Anyway, it's very exciting. Back here behind the chicken coop, we do intend on keeping the pallet walkway, and right here there's going to be some evergreens. So we will hopefully, like real thin ones, we'll hopefully keep that kind of quaint cottagey look around the coop. I haven't done a whole lot of work around here other than I pulled the borage out. Like, you guys remember, I pulled it out. I didn't even cut it back and look at it again. It's just everywhere. I think I planted 3 4-inch containers of borage back here. But this is the Boom Chocolata after its first flush. So the first flush, you know, was this tall, and we cut it back all the way to the ground, and its second flush is much more tame. It's much more to the size that it's supposed to be. But you can see the color of the flowers right here. They're beautiful. Now this is all dusty, so they usually look a little more bright than that, but you know, we've got all the powder around and we've had quite a lot of wind the last week or so. So anyway, I'm super happy with this perennial. I think it's wonderful. We've got Baptisia right behind it that we've cut back, and they are coming back already. And these I planted probably 2 seasons ago, so it's kind of nice to see what a plant looks like after it's been in the ground for a little while. The annuals have done amazingly well in this area. So it was a lot more full when the Baptisias were big, but we've got plain the blue salvia, some jazzberry supertunias. This is basket of gold alyssum right here, perennial. And then this, this sweet potato vine is the Bewitched After Midnight. Absolute beast of a plant. I had no idea, clearly. My word. But the view from right here is quite pretty. I'm going to use this again, but now I know what it'll do, so I'm going to give it like its space. Okay, so all that said, let's just pop over the hedge here and see if we can't find a good spot for something like this. I want delphiniums right there. There are a few things I am repeating in this area, such as delphiniums, iris, lady's mantle, that sort of thing. I don't know if it's visually different enough. I feel like I need a lady's mantle section right here that's got more chartreuse. Oh, and I've got other geraniums right here. So out to the south garden we go. Lots of space out there for these. I cannot wait to see what this west side does next year, because so many of these plants are brand new this year. And, you know, so they're looking a little struggling and that sort of thing. But once they kind of fill in, oh, it's going to be awesome, I think. Uh-oh, it looks like we're having a water issue right here. See that? I'm thinking the Boom Chocolata would look really good right here. We need kind of a bolder, you know, chunkier texture right here at the edge. But it looks like something blue over here. It looks like it's already been fixed. I bet you that blue. Sometimes that happens and then it'll shoot water across. Oh yeah, I think that will look really pretty right in here. Let's do that. Geraniums are in. I think they're going to look really nice out here. We have got lavender nearby and a rose. Desert Plains Pennisetum right there, but you can see that everything I've planted in this location, I've bounced back from the edge because most of these things get a little bit bigger, and I want to come in with something really short and kind of like ground cover toward the edges of all these beds to really just kind of give that really full lush look. And like I said, these get a lot bigger than the tags say in my area. So 26 to 28 inches is what the tag says. Spacing about 28 to 30 inches apart. So this should be just a really beautiful mass. Like in the end, a lot of these things right now look separate because, you know, you want to space them out properly. But once they've filled in and matured, it'll be like just a big drift. You won't see individual clumps out here, which will give it a kind of cleaner appearance. Zone 4 through 8, and they do attract bees as well. I popped a few Arctic fire dogwoods in this location. I'm gonna let them set for a day just to see if I like their placement, but we've got Spring Grove Arborvitaes out here. There are 3 of them. Really good winter interest. They're growing beautifully. They were so little when we planted them, and the ground is so hard out here. The auger was smoking, literally, like I could smell the drill. It was getting hot when we were trying to dig the holes for these, and I thought, oh my goodness, I don't know. I don't know if these are gonna survive, but they're doing great. I thought it would look really pretty to have some bright red stems nearby. So anyway, I'll think about that for a minute while we go plant everything else. I've got echinacea in quite a few locations because I love it so much. There's more right there. We've got more around the corner. I was kind of thinking maybe buy these blue geraniums over here. Nope, we've got yellow yarrow too close by. Nope. You know what? On this side, they would look really pretty. So these grow about 18 to 20 inches tall, and they recommend spacing of like 16 to 18 inches. So I think we've got some gorgeous purple salvia. We just planted those little sedums in this area. And I've got this little rose, which I can't remember the name of this one. This is the Ringo Double Pink. So it's a soft pink with the soft yellow, will be pretty. I want to make sure not to put anything right in front of that though, which means I'll probably get a few more of these purple salvias just to continue on until they meet up with these echinacea. Yeah, I think that'll look nice. Okay, let's get it done. Well, I ran into a 1/2-inch drip line right there, so I went and got a straight coupler. We're gonna fix it. I probably won't need to water this echinacea for a long time. And these are always a real treat to fix when the water's on. Echinacea are in. They look really good, especially by this Caryopteris, the Beyond Midnight. Look at those. Those are just so pretty. And you know what I love about these that I didn't even realize? When they're just coming out and budding out, they're kind of that bright chartreuse, that really fresh color. So we've got the Beyond Midnight, so that yellow and blue pairing is beautiful. We've got a golden privet ticket, which kind of like draws your eye back. It kind of connects the 2 yellows there. Desert Plains Pennisetum, and the reason why I kind of put these in a line, which I normally don't do them quite as much like that, I want to put an evergreen right here, and I don't have that much depth in this area, so I wanted to push them as close to the edge as I could while still leaving a little space to finish off this salvia drift. So we'll have the beautiful Autumn Joy pink of the salvia. These are mock orange, so they'll be white in the spring, pinkish, like a mauvey pink daylily, purple, kind of more of a fresh pink, the soft yellow, and then the blue. I'm loving it. So I did hit that 1/2-inch drip line when I was digging the last hole. So it was spraying out water, and I thought, well, I need to run back to the barn, get a 1/2-inch coupler so I can make a cut and connect the 2. I got back here, made the cut. I didn't realize that that nick in the line was right on one of the inline emitters, which means you have to take out quite a lot more of the drip line and use 2 couplers and an extra piece of tube. So it's gushing water because, of course, the zone is on, because that's you know what happens, that's how it goes. And there's no way with the system that this is on that we can pause the zone or stop it. Otherwise you have to start the whole thing over again, and it's such a tremendous waste of water to do that. So we don't do that. So I had to race back to the barn while this thing was gushing water out and get another coupler, another piece of tubing. I got the repair made. I'm not gonna have to water that last echinacea I planted for a really long time. In fact, I didn't even water it in today. It's got plenty of water in the hole. Boy, what a gift this huge cloud has been. Very pleasant out here. Okay, so this is our last one to plant before we go in and do step 2 with the peach ice cream. You know what, looking from this side, I think I'm gonna need something with more structure in there. I don't know if the Arctic fire is gonna be what I end up putting there. You know what? We're gonna pop this sedum in right here at the end of the Coreopsis drift. You know, we just moved the 4 of these that are right here, so it kind of like the blooms that were on them kind of dried up, but the plant itself, themselves, look pretty good. Like there's no wilt or anything like that, but you can see the fresher ones here. So anyway, they really could benefit from a good cutback at this point. But I think if we tuck this one in, let's see how it looks. Maybe we should look at this. 18 to 20 inches tall, 30 to 32 inch spacing. Dang. Okay. Sedums are awesome though, you guys. Full sun, attract the pollinators. I think this might be too close, too similar a color. What do you think? It's definitely a different texture. Not digging it. Nope. We need to find another spot for that. That gets quite large. And I kind of want it to contrast what it's next to. So let's see. I did forget to mention that that echinacea is a zone 4 through 8, and it wants full sun, and it can handle drought once it's established. So anyway, a really great one. I think these are these tiramisu? I never could remember which ones those were. These look darker, but these might look that way from a year being in our garden. Let me see if I can find what these are. Yeah, you guys, these are tiramisu. Aren't they gorgeous? So these are clearly way further along in their bloom cycle, have been in the ground for a year. These are the sedum. There's a variegated variety there, and then the tiramisu, and then the Sesky Gold Dwarf Birch. We planted these when Jenny and Jerry from Creekside Nursery were here, and I could just never remember the name of this variety. I don't know why. I won't now, I'll remember it now. But this one is clearly not as far along as this one is. So we can kind of get a picture of what this one will look like. So it's got this very smoky pink vibe, and then it turns into, it's still got that smoky mauve kind of coloring, but it's definitely a little bit more fresh looking, a little bit more bright. Looks amazing with the skull cap, you guys. This plant, you gotta get it. You've gotta put this one in your garden. I had never tried skull cap before. We did not run drip to it because it says it likes drier soil, and I thought, well, maybe just the amount of overspray it'll possibly get from the grass sprinklers will do it. Clearly the plant has loved it. It's never been without blooms this entire season from the moment I planted it. It's almost like planting an annual for like that color punch that you get and the productivity of the plant, and it looks gorgeous with everything over here. It looks gorgeous with the tiramisu. It looks gorgeous with this variegated sedum right here, and it looks beautiful with the microchip pink buddleias that we planted recently. Okay, well, I know why I planted those so far apart now, given the fact that they say a 30-inch spacing. Isn't that fun when you have plants that perform like that? Oh, that's why I like sedums and echinaceas and hardy geraniums. They all perform like that. I think it would be awesome to do some sedums like that in containers. I do have 2 pots with sedum in it, and they're the most low maintenance containers ever, but I think like using them in more of a central location is one of our centerpiece containers. I think putting like 3 of those sedums in a pot all by themselves would be just amazing. Hey dude, you up playing? It's beautiful out, isn't it? I gotta plant one more plant, and then I'm gonna go inside and make some peach ice cream. Does that sound good?
I don't know if I like it or not.
Well, we'll give it a try, huh? Maybe we should just tuck it in right here. That'd be pretty, wouldn't it? We've got the Russian sage. You know, the Tuscan Sun Heliopsis, an amazing perennial, you guys. You can see the first flush of bloom. So this is what you can kind of expect from this one. We really should come along and deadhead. You don't have to, but you know, clearly you'd be able to see the new flush of blooms, which are lower in the plant, better if you would deadhead. But boy, it's been a tough one. Looks so pretty with the Russian sage over here. And the Violet Night Lobularia. This was an afterthought. I had a few left in a tray after planting at the college, and I thought, well, I didn't really have a plan for these, so let's just go find a drip tube somewhere in a flower bed. So I just went along and found wherever there was an emitter, I just popped one in this area, so we didn't have to run any extra drip to them, which was awesome. And they're just such amazing plants. They're the type that will go all the way almost till Thanksgiving some years. But I just have them popped in all over the place around here. I so wish they were perennial. Wouldn't that be amazing? Tucked them in around the edge here, kind of around the hose link. And then I drew some of the same interest over to this side too, since the entry plantings are the same. You know, these are the Firelight Tidbits. There's 3 here, and Russian Sage. Same on that side, so more of the alyssum in this area. Oh yeah, that's the best spot thus far, especially knowing it's gonna pink up a little bit more. So let's do it. Well, that's not what you want. Got a little loose there on the last one. Oh, it looks good there all by itself. I love it. I think the color's gonna be perfect. I think it's gonna really like its spot. I don't think that this will, well, be in shade for ever, if at all. Ah, are you gonna get me? Yeah. I mean, eventually this red bud, this is the one that I dug up and moved over here. Eventually that will be big and that will shade this, but I don't know how long it's gonna take. It's clearly loving it. I mean, it's doing really well in its location, thankfully. Do any of you remember when I tried to dig that up? It was in the bed right in front of me. So it was in this bed right here, kind of like, I don't know, maybe 15 feet, 10, 15 feet away from that pear that we have there. And it was when we still had the fence over here and we had just bought this property and I knew I needed to do something different here anyway. So I dug it up and it was a beast. It was an absolute beast. I had no idea how these things root in. And I thought I was going to either break a shovel or that I was going to kill the tree. I got as much of the root ball as I could, and I just kind of thought, well, we'll see what happens. It's done really well. So this one is a 3 through 9. The pollinators love it. You know, eventually it'd be nice to have, I don't even care though if it's just a single one, but if we had a few more right here along the edge, I think that would be really pretty. It's kind of an ideal location for it, you know, being so close to the gravel lane. It's going to catch a lot of heat right here and they can just handle it. They just can. So that's it for planting projects this morning. Now I'm going to head in and we'll do the second part of the peach ice cream, which consists of mashing up those peaches. It does talk about how not to leave a lot of them real chunky because they freeze really hard. So you want to pretty much mash them up to a good pulp, I guess. And then you make your custard and you incorporate them together and then chill it for 4 hours. So anyway, that's what we're gonna go do. What? Yeah, you can get on, but I'm not going very far. We're gonna start making the custard for the ice cream.
I want to help you cook.
Okay, perfect. I like help in the kitchen. Aha, okay. Here you go, dude. You want to get in there and mash them up with the fork? There you go. Smash them up really well. Great job. So you keep working on smashing them and I'm gonna make the custard, okay? And the custard is made up of 5 egg yolks, 1.5 cup of heavy cream, 1.5 cup of whole milk, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Whoa, you're doing a great job, bud. Keep on smashing. Okay, so here's our custard base right here. I strained the smashed up peaches to where most of the liquid came out, and we're supposed to reserve these and add these into the ice cream freezer like 20 to 30 minutes before it's done, I think. No, 30 seconds before, 30 seconds before it's done. We add these in to the ice cream freezer. So this has all the liquid though from the peaches and then the custard base. So we're gonna cover both of these, put them in the fridge for around 4 hours, and then we'll get it out and freeze it. While I was in there working on the ice cream, the guys were out here working on the trees. So let's go see how far they got. Guys, they got them all done. They look so good. I hope you can see it really well in this shot. I wish you could stand here and really just be in this space and feel what this does to this area. Oh my goodness, I'm loving it so much. And it does look like we are gonna get some sort of weather here. Yay, that's so exciting. So the first maple here, you can see they've already staked that one a little bit, but it's gonna be nearby where the big flower bed comes off. I might even incorporate it, guys, because I'm going to significantly widen this flower bed. I don't really know what I was thinking over here other than the fact that I just needed to make a line so that we could get things kind of buttoned up in this area, but we'll widen that out. And then toward the end here, I think I'm gonna just bring it way out over this way. So this will kind of be in, not the center of the bed, but I'll have this tree, and then I'm gonna probably put another tree right in here and then another one over here to kind of frame in this walkway and kind of bring some weight, because this walkway is enormous and it kind of has to be for how long it is, but we need to get some big pieces in here to balance that out. Anyway, all the trees, so they got the first 5 done that first day, and so the 4 right here are the ones they did. And then I'll show you where they had to do a little digging for the water line. Oh, they're so pretty. Now, I do notice that they've got more fall color than, of course, ours that are planted because, you know, the upset to their system. It's a little bit of a shock to be pulled out of their home and, you know, brought over here. So like that one right there, showing lots of color already. But you can see what's going on here. The funny thing is that they had the grass dug out. You can kind of see they had the grass dug out right there, and I drove by that evening after they got all these done, and I told them, like, I think that the measurement might be a little bit off right there. Like, it looks too close. Sure enough, it needed to go over here, but there was a water line that came right out of this box, and shot this direction. So they came over this way and reconnected it so that we could properly plant the tree and not have pipes right next to the root ball. I want to go over here though and look at the color we've got going. Oh, and can you guys imagine when we have the brick edging and it's super tidy along here, you know, a really good border between grass and gravel. Oh, so this is just like a little preview. Just a little one. Oh, isn't that so pretty? Okay guys, so I'm gonna go get a few other just little chores done actually inside the house. I've got laundry going too today and got a lot of things going on. I think we're gonna make homemade pizzas tonight, so I'm gonna get that dough started. But I will be back in a few hours when we take that custard base out and put it in the ice cream freezer. The next day, I went ahead and put the custard through the ice cream freezer late last night so that I could get it in the freezer, because after that point you have to put it in the freezer for 4 hours, it says minimum. So it's nice and firm now. I've only had it out of the freezer for about 5 minutes. Moment of truth. It's probably pretty firm at this point, but we're gonna taste this. Look at that. So I did taste this when it was really soft, you know, right out of the ice cream freezer last night, and it was good. Really cold. I really taste the peach a lot more today. Maybe that's why you have to put it in the freezer for 4 hours. Maybe like the flavor develops even further. But I taste it more today than I did last night when it was at its soft stage, and it is delicious. And I am glad that the recipe said to cut the peaches or mash the peaches up into small, like a real small, almost a pulp, because if you left any chunks, they would freeze too hard. That is beautiful. So you can kind of see the consistency of the chunks. You know, Benjamin and I went after it with a fork trying to mash those pieces up, and then I ended up taking an immersion blender to it. And just kind of lightly, you know, put the immersion blender in a few times just to break up the bigger chunks, because we were having a hard time. They're really like squirmy. You get it under the fork and it just like shoots out from under the fork. So that blender worked really nicely. I did make some ginger snap cookies just real quick. In fact, they might still be a little bit warm, because I thought, wouldn't it be good to make an ice cream sandwich out of this? Kind of that peach with that pie kind of flavor. We're gonna try it. Here's our ginger snaps. I managed to sneak a few by the kids. They wanted to eat them all. Okay, I'm gonna try to get some of this out in a kind of a flat piece. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I need to make desserts more often for video projects. That's peach pie. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So the ice cream is really creamy and really delicious. If I do this recipe again, I might add just a few, not little peach liquid, but I might mash up more peaches. Use the same amount of liquid from them, but use more of that like pulp peaches in there, because I think that adds a really, really wonderful texture. The ginger snaps with it, amazing. Love it, you guys. And that is it. I'm going to tuck into the rest of this ice cream sandwich here in the Hartley and just enjoy the heck out of it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will link the recipe for this ice cream down below. Definitely give it a try if you can. I might even try it. The nectarines would make excellent ice cream as well. I even thought of like putting some of this in the bowl and then slicing some nectarines right on top of it, because I'm out of peaches at this point. So anyway, thank you guys again for watching. We'll see you in the next one.